The raging spate of violence has continued to defy all forms of approach at resolving it. We have violence in all parts of the country, ranging from insurgency, banditry, armed robbery, and all sorts. And the quest for solution has brought us here once again. Hello, my name is Ikpe. Welcome to our program, Violence Free World. And interestingly, my guest on the program today is the all very, very important, the man at the center of it all. His Excellency Alhaji Babagana Zulum, the Executive Governor of Borno State. Excellency, you're welcome to our program.
Thank you very much.
We're going to come right back into the conversation right after this special report. We'll be right back. Be here. Nigeria's journey through nationhood, like many others, have been characterized with good and bad incidents. A peep at our trajectory points at the 1966 coup as the most dramatic incident, a callous adventure that led to the Civil War of 1967. Where millions of lives were lost and properties worth billions destroyed. While efforts at genuine reconciliation have continued, terror merchants with motives that are political, religious and monetary have for a considerable while continued to visit men on the citizens. The hallmarks of the present terror regime are the insurgency in the northeast of Nigeria, the banditry in northwest, herdsmen crisis in the north central and southwest Nigeria, and most recently, the southeast is beginning to experience what looks like the Borno-based insurgency in its nascency. Violence, therefore, has become a common denominator from all and across Nigeria. Fear is palpable as the military continue in their efforts at combating the enemies. Many citizens are beginning to wonder if the situation is now hopeless. Gladly, the reality in certain parts of Nigeria elicits hope. Many analysts will readily cite the calm in the Niger Delta region after a near total war and the reversal in status of parts of Kogi State as an enclave of Boko Haram are all pointers to the fact that the reign of terror is surmountable. Finally, as we hope for an end to terror and a return to normalcy, a positive redefinition of mindsets amongst Nigerians is most necessary. Welcome back. Excellency, a wartime governor is what a lot of people consider you to be, more like an emergency rule. How is this adding up for you as a civilian governor in the first place? You saw all of this before you came on board, yet you have to deal with it. We want to know, how does it work out in your mind presently?
Thank you very much. If you may remember, I was the pioneer commissioner for reconstruction, rehabilitation and resettlement in Borno State. The position I held for about 4 years before my election as the governor of Borno State. So it doesn't worry me. And it's never a surprise to me. Because Borno State has been in this trouble for the last 11 years. But I was elected based on some certain reasons. We promised to the people of Borno State that we shall secure the environment so that they can go about their normal economic activities. And therefore, it is my responsibility, it is our responsibility to ensure that the demands of the electorate are being fulfilled. That is my mission.
Okay, now, present as it stands, there are three institutions now, even though one very, very illegitimate and illegal. We have the military, the army, so to speak. We have Boko Haram, that's the illegal one, the illegitimate one. Then, of course, we have the Borno State government, all jostling for the control of this same Borno State. Sometimes when you sit back, knowing that you are the legitimate one, of course, alongside the military, I don't know how this plays out in your minds too.
Well, I don't think you get it right. The insurgents have a mission. To me, I don't think their reasons are germane in such a way that they want to take the control of the entire governance in the state. But most importantly, somehow we couldn't understand. The root causes of the insurgents are not limited to endemic poverty, pervasive illiteracy, social inequality, drug abuse, environmental degradation, among others. And therefore, the only way we can get rid of this problem is to ensure that we address these challenges. But for us that are in Borno State, who have been together for the last 10 years, we can vividly recall how they came into existence. It was as a result of clash between the Nigerian police and the members of the then of the late Alhaji Mohammed Yusuf on a very simple issue, on the desirability or otherwise of wearing helmet. You know helmet?
Yeah, of course.
Yes, a protective device when
Especially
somebody
for motorbike
is
riders.
motorbike. That's a very small thing.
Yes.
So I think the issue has not been handled properly, and that has culminated to the present situation that we are in now. So honestly speaking, I'm a state governor. I'm aware of the existing challenges that we have in Borno State, but we are up to the task. So the issue of Boko Haram staying in our region, trying to control resources and trying to provide governance does not arise. They are always working hard to ensure that they meet their objectives, but I think they couldn't get it right at all.
Well,
because up to now, they cannot boast of having a single territory that is completely under their own domain.
So it is not true that they are actually about to install a governor alongside.
No.
He is all over the place in the social media. And
No.
The
They have been talking for the last 11 years. Yes, that they have caliphate and others. Where are they? Where are they? They can't move to areas that they can move.
Okay, Excellency, even though you touched on this briefly, let's come back and look at this youth involvement with violence, which is very, very huge and very significant too. And some people see it as being catalytic to everything that we're having there. Because if you had less of them involved, you have less problems, basically. And you hinted at the low literacy level that they have here too, and joblessness, impoverishment, all of that. Yet you had gone ahead to actually provide solutions in the past. How hopeful are you that all of these remedies that you've been providing as far as this is concerned is working, so they can keep the youth where they actually should be?
You are right. The issue of unemployment It's a matter of great concern. We have hundreds of thousands of youths in Borno State, not only in Borno State, in the entire sub-region, as well as in the entire country, that are not employed. Then why? Because of the following reasons. One, there is mismatch between our educational system and the industries. There is also mismatch between our graduates and the labor market because they are not employable. The knowledge that we are impacting on our children in our schools is not enough to say that they will be on their own. So the kind of education that we are impacting on our children has to be looked into. We have to shift away from the elitist curriculum that we are working on it now. The issues of technical and vocational education is very important because you can see 100,000, 200,000 students, children are going into the university. At the end of their graduation, 95% of them cannot be employed because they haven't learned any skills. This is something very important. The issue of technical and vocational education, the issue of entrepreneurship development is key, it's sine qua non to our own development. But unfortunately in Nigeria, I'm a lecturer from the University of Maiduguri. I know what it takes to be an engineering graduate in the university. Do we have the desired equipments on ground? Look at 6334 system of education that has been in place for the last decade or more. Look at the curriculum. The curriculum has clearly spelled out that in the first 6 years, somebody should be at the primary level. Children should be at the primary level. Then after you have completed your primary school level, the children should now move to another 3 years, junior secondary school. At that stage, the children should be taught some skills. But this is a missing link. It's a very serious missing link. There is increasing procreation without care. There's increasing drug abuse without care. Population is growing in a quick geometrical ratio. But unfortunately, employment is low. Employment opportunities are low. And we are doing a very serious mistake in Nigeria. The issue of white-collar jobs. 90% of us felt that our children will just go to schools and then after graduation they will be employed in the public sector. Why is the funding? Why are the resources from the federal government or either to the state government to employ a chunk of these children? So the only way out is technical and vocational education. The only way out is quality education. The only way out is how we can strengthen agriculture. While the issue of the quality of education, the pitting into our secondary schools will determine the output. What we have now normally is garbage in, garbage out.
But to what extent are you allowed to interfere? What did you do as far as this goes? Would you be a very proactive person? Did you do anything to tamper with the curriculum and that kind of stuff, change it from this?
At my own level,
yes.
You can look at my manifesto. And then we clearly identified the administration's 10-point agenda. One of the agenda is food security. That's number one. Because the nexus between peace, security, and development need not be overemphasized. The next is the issue of job creation. You are getting what I'm saying? through technical and vocational education, through quality education. What we are doing in Borno State now is that we have constructed mega Tibet centers, about 3, and then we have about 9 another vocational training centers across the local governments. All are geared towards inculcating technological know-how on our children so that they can be on their own. They should be job creators rather than job seekers. And then another very important thing is agriculture, because food security is the worst form of insecurity. We want to transform agriculture. We want to improve on our agricultural value chain so that our youths will be engaged. I think by doing so, we shall get rid of the problem that we are having. But most importantly, the issue of population expulsion has to be addressed.
We'll touch on the youth much later in the interview, but let's come to something very contentious now. The Nigerian soldier today arguably is much more educated than we were back in the days. The average officer is probably a second degree holder by virtue of the NDA and the number of years required to train them. And we'll look back again, the situation, the circumstances the Nigerian soldier faces today is far, far more complicated than we had back in the day. Do you strongly feel that we're better off back in the days than we are today, sir?
The matter is not about qualification.
Yes.
You may have the qualification and you may not have the know-how. So the most important thing is that what is the quality of our papers? What is the quality of our training? Yes, you can go to the universities and assess the competency of some of the students in the universities. This is largely as a result of our inability to create the enabling environment in the university for the children to learn. First of all, the issue of quality of teachers is very important. Do we have qualified teachers? Do we have the desired equipment on ground?
In this case, the Nigerian Army
yes.
you're referring to.
So when you are speaking of NDA, yes, it's Nigerian Defense Academy, but you know, they can't have they cannot have something that has not been given to them. So whether we like it or not, the truth of the matter is that our educational system is in a comatose stage. We have to go back to the drawing board and ensure that we rectify anomalies at the primary school level, as well as at the secondary school level. Because you and I know that we don't have qualified teachers. The issue of student-teacher ratio. You can go to a classroom where you can see 100 students or 200 students having one teacher. Before then, it wasn't like this. Unfortunately, we couldn't plan well. That is what I'm saying. Something. I'm talking about sustainability. You are getting sustainable development. What we mean by sustainable development is that development that will take care of the future. That has not been done before. In the last 20, 30, 40 years, yes, the population is smaller. The number of teachers are quite okay, but we have to plan for future development, and that is the missing link in Nigeria. We haven't done well in the areas of sustainable development. What do we mean by sustainable development? Development that will take care of the future generation. We shouldn't plan for now, but we shall plan for future expansion. That has not been done, and I think this is where we get it wrong.
Okay, now on this same issue, you also was preferring, and you have mentioned I actually watched you on TV speak to the issues of mercenaries, how you have suggested a couple of times, even to the president himself, that you think this will make considerable difference. Do you still think this will make considerable difference?
I don't want to unnecessarily overheat the polity. I've said it now, time with time numbers, that there's a need for the federal government to hire mercenaries. I said it time without numbers. Again, I said that, yes, they are doing their best. But because of the inadequacies at hand, I want them to prefer for the next 2 years so that they will be well equipped. And then before they will be well equipped, we can engage mercenaries to ensure that the remnants of the insurgents are being cleared. I'm not trying to belittle the Nigerian army. They are doing their best. But I think there's nothing wrong in seeking for collaboration, which is very key. You have seen the Nigeria, the United States, and others have also, look forward for coalition during wars, especially the Iraqi wars and others. Yes, why not Nigeria?
As long as you had cause to disagree with the military at some point in time, openly out there, but these are part of the issues that we're going to come back and speak to, including youth inclusiveness as far as governance is concerned. But that will be when we return from this break. This is Violence Free World. I've been speaking with His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Borno State. We're going to come right back and continue the conversation right after this time. I'll be here. Don't go away. Welcome back. I'm still here with His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Borno State. Excellency, now you've had cause to disagree with soldiers, commanders out there as to the way they handle certain situations. Do you also in any way suspect that certain elements amongst this leadership of these commanders around there are undermining the security situation, colluding to further their own personal interest that is contrary to the national interest? Do you suspect any foul play sometimes that makes you come out fuming the way you did?
While I was voted because of one fundamental reason, that is provision of security to the people of Borno State. Security of lives and properties is the number one objective of any government. And that is why whenever I see something wrong, I have to say it, which is very important. Yes, let me tell you one very important thing. We have good army officers. We have bad army officers. We have good soldiers. We have bad soldiers. We have good politicians. We have bad politicians. So this issue of insurgency has a multidimensional approach. It's right. I said it time without numbers that there is sabotage in the system. What I mean by sabotage is that if you loot funds that are meant to procure arms, it's a sabotage. You are getting what I'm saying?
Very true.
So, again, it's not only in the Nigerian army, including the political class, the civil servants, because people felt they can sacrifice life of human being for money, which is so bad. If things are done properly, believe me sincerely, by now, the issue of insurgency is over.
If things were done properly.
Yes.
In which case, do you suspect that this war has lingered because some people within the system are furthering their own, they are using it as a
What
business?
I'm saying now is that I think you need to understand me. I did not single out one particular person because security matters are very important, that it affects all of us. We are all stakeholders, including the community, including the Nigerian military, the police, and the electorate, and indeed the public servants and the political office holders. So what I'm saying now is that if we plan to fail, it's also a part of sabotage. So honestly speaking, by now we could have get rid of this problem. But again, this administration also has some certain shortcomings, have problems. The dwindling revenue. For the last 6 years, 6 years, crude oil prices have soared. The external reserve had come down. So I think there is misunderstanding that people are saying, okay, the problem of Buhari. No. It's all of us.
Well, Excellency, I think that's a very good point to leave it at this point. I must thank you very much for obliging us, audience.
Thank you very much.
I've been speaking with the Executive Governor of Borno State, His Excellency Alhaji Babagana Zulum. Same time next week promises even more if you endeavor to be here. Until then, please remember to remain on the road to a violence-free Nigeria. My name is Ikpe. Thank you very much for watching. God bless you. No more.